My Strategic Plan Strategy Huddle. How do you cascade goals and objectives?
And something going and start thinking strategically somehow. And that just gets the old ball rolling, and people tend to embrace it and then make a difference. So when they start seeing where they actually fit in the organization, that's where this cascading part comes in. And again, as you said, it's pretty tactical, but it's so critical for people to kind of see where they fit. You know, how am I really part of making this strategic plan? How do I, you know, when we come back from the retreat, or the boss comes in, the management team comes back from the retreat, you know, so what? Where do I fit? And this particular diagram that Ryan just put up on here, we've used this as of late, and particularly when we were working with the Boy Scouts, when the folks that are volunteers and working out in the districts and units, when they see that the bottom part of that pyramid, where we're talking about individual goals and actions, that's them, that what they're really doing fits in and makes a difference with the departmental goals, which make a difference in the annual operations, organization-wide goals, and as well as then supports these long-term objectives that are going to take us towards our vision. They get it, and they feel so much better about these 2, 3, 4, 5 things that they're supposed to be doing, because it's relevant. It really does make a difference to them. So Ryan's going to be sending his PowerPoint out, and this particular pyramid is really helpful to help folks understand from this cascading thing how they really fit to where they belong. And just explaining this and so forth takes a little bit of time and so forth, and what we're finding, like with the Boy Scouts, it's some of these folks just you know, don't think strategically all the time, and that's understandable because they're out in the field and they're dealing with the tactics like we were just talking. But when they start seeing that their individual day-by-day things are really supporting what's going, it's well worth the effort. So we do have an example that comes out of a public entity, because again, we can share this kind of stuff because the plan is up on the City of Las Cruces website and so forth. And what we see right here is what we called in the pyramid. Those are the long-term strategic objectives of the city. They've got 7. Something, you know, Eric and I even today, I have to back up and say that sometimes we use objectives and goals and interchangeably, and priorities and whatever else. It's a matter of coming up with whatever the definition is and works in your organization. But these 7 items are these long-term activities that the city is going to have to do year after year after year to move them towards their vision. So that's what this is. So they've got 7 of them that we put together that fits in the balanced scorecard. Then, so based upon these 7 long-term objectives, we've got then city-wide goals that are going to have to be done each and every year, and we've got examples right here that strategic objective being to foster vibrant economic environment, and the Public Services Department, one of their citywide goals is going to be to continue to develop Las Cruces as a tourist destination. So that's citywide. The Public Services is leading this, and there's a few other departments that are going to help it, but this is going to eventually be assigned to them. So then, as we roll down then into the actual Public Services Department, it cascades down out to the, as you see, to the 3rd step. We got number 5 being where it says that's the strategic objective. Continue to develop Las Cruces as a tourist destination, and that's a citywide goal. That's all measurable. This thing is smart. And then this particular year or so, the Public Services Department is going to work on maximizing opportunities presented by the Spaceport America that they've got nearby. So what they're doing is supporting the citywide goal of making this a tourist destination. And part of the strategic planning effort, they decided that they really need to work on their economic environment and develop it, and through this we're going to continue to foster this tourist destination development. So, and again, we don't have it here, but each one of these things, other than the strategic objective, is SMART. In other words, it's got to be somehow specific, and it's got to be measurable and kind of aggressive, but achievable, and we've got to make sure it's time-bound and it's reasonable. So then as we drill down just a little bit further down into the individual, now this could be a unit, or it could be a sub-department, or so forth, but those are the different activities that they have to do to support the departmental goal, which is maximizing opportunity, which then supports the citywide specific long-term goal. In here, I'd like to remind us that for those of us, but most everybody that's on is using our strategic plan, and all this is available inside of the plan. These reports Erica had in the previous discussion we had there. She showed an example of a team member or a unit member chart where they showed exactly what they were supposed to be doing, a report, and that would be similar to what we see coming from what we have highlighted there about co-branding the city and or look into developing educational, informational tours and so forth. So that's the levels that we've got in our plan, and also the reports that will come out of that. As another report that comes out also this is from the Public Service Department. These are the different citywide goals that they're trying to support. And the one that we've been looking at all along here was the continue to develop Las Cruces as a tourist destination, but the Public Service Department has those other citywide goals that they're supporting as well. And again, this is another report inside of MSP. And finally, on the individual level, John Smith, we've made John Smith a part of the Public Service Department. He may have a small team, small group, and so forth, but those are the three activities that his group is working on. They're identifying the internal and external costs and logistics to support the spaceport, working with the PIO, the Public Information Officer, and then the review and annual strategies. Okay, so this is, again, these are SMART, they're measurable and so forth. So John and his team are supporting the Public Service Department goals, which is the Public Service Department goals, and roll up into support the citywide goals as well. So a quick little summary on this is that cascading is tactical. We've got there the grains are right size at each level, because when we're looking at each individual level, we've got to make sure we've got the responsibility, we've got the resources and so forth to be able to carry out what we're being tasked with. Roll out what we're starting to use that's really important of these cascading of the goals and so forth, where they have a meeting and everybody kind of sees where they fit, and they fit collectively. That's always important. They see that who's responsible for what, the time frame of what you're supposed to be accomplishing it through, and then making sure that what they're responsible for is properly resourced. So when we do the rollout, and you've got all the different team members like John Smith and so forth within that department, they see where they fit. They see interdependencies, what do I have to do to support somebody else? So as Erica talked about before, with regular meetings and so forth, this keeps strategy top of mind, and people can see how they're affecting each other and helping each other out. So again, as Erica said before, this is rather tactical. It's mechanical, but when people really see how it fits together, going back to that first pyramid and so forth, I think that's a graphic that is really helpful in understanding the frontline people, helping them to understand how they fit in and how they really shoulder activities and move forward. So